As soon as I tilt my head, all of a sudden it looks way more symmetrical. It's like an illusion. So when people are like, oh wow, it's so symmetrical, and I'm like, ease the pose. Hey syndicates, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the different types of poses that you can do for your makeup photos. So whether you're a makeup artist who's trying to tell the client that you have how to pose in a photo shoot, or maybe you're a content creator like myself, but you are running out of different poses to do, well, I'm here to give you the lowdown of how I like to pose on camera. I think as a content creator, the thing that we have most trouble with is separating ourselves as the model and the artist. So if you're a makeup artist working with a client, have the model pose in a way that shows off your work in the best light. If they look really pretty with the side profile, but it covers all of your work, that's probably not going to be the shot that you want to be posting in your portfolio. So that's a thing that a lot of people forget to do when they themselves become the model. And with the increase of social media influencing and a lot of people learning how to take photos of themselves, I'm here to shed some light on my favorite poses, and I've named every single one of those poses for you. They have funny names. Make sure to stay until the very end because I'm going to be dropping some hot bonus tips for lighting that's gonna make you look extra good on video, on photo, whatever you're doing. So without further ado, let's go get modeling! All the photographs that I'm showing you today are my own work. I've either photographed it by myself or maybe my husband has photographed it for me. And you'll see some repetition of my favorite poses because I think some of them are my best angles, but there's also a lot of diversity in the different types of poses, especially when different types of makeup will evoke different character and emotions. So we'll get a little bit more into that later on. Alright, I moved back a little bit so that you can see what the poses actually look like with the rest of my body, or at least a little bit lower than what a beauty shot actually is. And the trick is I actually photograph more than I need and then I crop in. Obviously, when I photograph with a DSLR camera, it's going to be a lot more high quality than if you photograph on your phone. So as much as possible, if you do photograph on your phone, you want to get it a little bit more accurately. But if you have a very high quality camera like myself and you photograph a little bit further away, because sometimes you want to do wide shots and then crop it in when you see a shot that you think looks even better as a close-up, then go ahead because then you have more flexibility. First off, you want the yearbook photos, which means you're just recording what the makeup actually looks like, just in case all the other poses suck. We're gonna start with just being front on, to the side, and then to this side. Think 45-degree angles. So go back to the center like we started, tilt our head this way, tilt our head this way, look at the camera, look away from the camera, 45-degree angle to the front, down, other side, up, back. So take a photo, take a photo, 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 and then I come back to the front, photo, photo, look down, look up, look the other side, close your eyes. And obviously if you're doing eye makeup, you don't want to be looking up and covering all your work, but if you have a full face of makeup and your eye doesn't actually have like really intense details like some of my work, then it's totally fine. Or if you have body paint and you want to show off the body paint, you probably want to put more emphasis on this area, playing around with shapes. But the most basic thing you need to do first of all is just take a record, take pictures of your work. Pose number one is the I just got out of the bed stretch. One arm in front or kind of behind. Do not be covering the light with your hand. If I do this, I'm covering the light from my face and I'm creating a shadow that I don't want. You can do it the other way around. Then, this is actually my favorite pose. It's the again pose. I have myself tilted at a 45-degree angle. I elongate my neck and then I go again, and I look down at the camera, so that way my eyelids are a little bit relaxed. You can see my eye makeup. I have my head a little bit tilted. I'll do it on both sides. It kind of gives me this beautiful shape like right here, and I'll start turning this way and I think, okay, this is a good angle. Take the photo, other side, and obviously you want to do the same thing with your eyes. Look at the camera, look away from the camera. Very, very small movements here and there. The next pose is the let me rest my chin on my hand pose. And here you can be straight on, you can be side. I'm not doing this. I'm releasing my fingers. I actually have my elbow on my wrist and I'm sitting, crossing my legs, and I'm resting. I'm just slightly leaning forward like so, not putting a lot of weight. You can do it in both arms. And the next pose is the inquisitive head tilt pose. Think of yourself as a cat or a dog and you're just going to tilt your head. And then you want to add that with the smize. Next pose is the sniffing the air pose. Closing your eyes, angling your face, jutting out your chin just a little bit to get that jawline highlighted. And the first step of fresh spring air, you go picture. Right there. The next pose is the I'm feeling coy behind my shoulder pose. And this is one of the poses which goes against the elevating your neck thing, because I think this is more kind of inspired by things that you would see in like high fashion editorial. Instead of pushing our shoulders back, we want to push our shoulders forward, angle ourselves to the side, pop that shoulder out, and then tuck your chin right behind the shoulder. Be careful not to rest your chin because we're gonna get this situation. We want to tuck behind and then look at the camera. Look down, look to the side, smize. And you can tell if you're doing the smize correctly when you look at the photo back and you see how much white is under your eye. Our facial muscles are not used to doing it. It's kind of awkward and weird. My problem is when I do too much, this part starts relaxing a little bit. I'll kind of massage my face or just kind of, you know, relax it. The next pose is the I'm thinking. You can use either arm. I like to always do the arm in the front. You never want to press against. I'm using my other arm to rest my elbow, look off into the distance. It's like if you go into a store and you're shopping, you're like looking at the bags, and you're like, which one do I want? And be like, oh ma'am, can I help you? And I'm like, no, I think I'm good. You know? The next one is the easy one. It's the glare at you pose. Put your chin down and just stare directly at the camera. And like I said before, if you have a really detailed makeup on your eye, you don't want to do this pose because not only are you hiding it, but you're potentially creasing it. The next pose is the stare at the waiter pose. And that's if you're waiting at a restaurant. Oh, that waiter just came out with a plate of food, but I can't really see what the plate of food is. I really hope that's my plate of food because I'm really hungry. And then on top of the stare at the waiter pose, there's the stare off into the distance pose, which means that instead of looking for something, you're just daydreaming. And here you can slouch and roll back your shoulders a little bit, looking up and away, because you're looking up at the cloud. Next, we have the smirk to the side pose. And this one makes you look a little bit cheeky. You put your chin down, you look off to the side or the other side, and then you do a little smirk. When I do symmetrical looks and they don't turn out that symmetrical, as soon as I tilt my head, all of a sudden it looks way more symmetrical. It's like an illusion. But if I just went straight forward, you could definitely tell it's not 100% symmetrical. So when people are like, oh wow, so symmetrical, and I'm like, ease the pose. Next is the complete profile pose. And that is when you're completely to the side and looking towards the side. You're not looking at the camera at all. This is really good as like a supplemental pose. Sometimes you want to angle yourself to a 45-degree angle just so you can see a little bit of the side of my face. You can keep photographing as you make little movements here and there. And now we have the different oh my head poses. The oh my head pose can be 1 or 2 hands, and it just has 1 hand here or another hand here. And I like going like this. I'm not covering my ears, just right above my ears and my temple, and pulling my hair back. And then maybe sometimes I'll only have 1 hand, so I'll do this. And I don't want to see too much of my hand because it's just helping me frame the face. So right now it's competing, so I move my head this way. Then we have the nodding off look, like I'm falling asleep. And this is with your eyes closed, your chin down, and your lip drooping a little bit. And this is really good because you can see your eye makeup a lot better. This is really helpful when you pick a combination of photos, which I personally like to do maybe 3 photos. One's gonna be a closed eye shot so you can see my eye makeup. Another one's going to be an open eye, and maybe another one is going to be a distance photo. And on top of that, one of those is going to be a wider shot, so farther away, then closer up, and then a medium shot. I won't try to pick poses that are too similar because I want my work to provide value in each photo. The scratching and itch pose, we're just putting a little dainty finger on your cheek. Sometimes I'm doing it like this, sometimes I cup my chin a little bit, tapping, not scratching. It's like a pedestal in a museum that is holding the piece of artwork, and my face is the artwork. And finally, we have the regal pose. If you're pretending to be royalty, you're looking down and squint your eyes. If you have watched the entire video until this point, leave a comment below right now of your favorite pose and which one you are guilty of doing most often. And because you've stayed until the end of this video, I'm gonna give you some bonus tips on how to properly light and photograph your work. If you didn't guess it, I love 45-degree angles. My lights, I have 2 of them right now in front of me, are at 45-degree angles. Most people will probably just put a circle light right in front of their face. Washes you out completely. 45-degree angles are going to help balance the light, and your light should be diffused, so you don't want like a harsh light unless that is the look that you're going for, but we're just talking about studio light here. To have a look at my studio lighting for a smaller space that involved only 2 lights, then make sure to check out this video. Otherwise, if you do you have the liberty of having more than 2 lights, then the third light should be a backlight. I have a light right now, and if I turn that off, you can see that even though I have the 2 lights balancing it out, the shadows are not diffused at all. Having this extra light for the back is helping me stand out, and it also serves as a little bit of a hair light. So 3-point light, 1, 2, 3. But at the end of the day, even if all of those were really great and you had a really bad pose and didn't show off your makeup in the best light, then you wouldn't have optimized the composition of the photo properly. You do not have to be a model to learn how to model. With that being said, tag me on Instagram or TikTok at Chen Designs if you use any of these poses. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and turn on your notifications. As usual, stay creative and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Go be a model. Go be a model. Model. Boop.